Alrighty, so 2.2a lesson last time was all about chips with multiplication. Guess what? We're done with chips. Okay, we're going to focus on the rules of multiplying and dividing in this lesson. Okay, all right, so it says, using what you learned in 2.2a, explain the following in words. Y is 2 times 3 equals 6. Okay, well, in words, okay, we are starting with 0 and adding in or putting in two groups of positive 3 gets you 6 positives. Okay, that's the meaning of a positive times a positive. Okay, I put in that many groups of positives, so you get positive. Okay, this guy, y is 2 times negative 3 equal negative 6. Okay, starting with 0. You always start with nothing. And adding in two groups of negative 3 gets you 6 negatives. Okay, that's the meaning of a positive times a negative. It's very important that you understand the meaning in words. We all know 2 times 3 is 6. It's not about that. It's about what's the meaning of it. We all know 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. It's not about that. It's about the meaning of it. Okay, now this gets a little trickier because we're starting with a negative. A negative times a negative, here's the meaning. Here's the meaning. Starting with 0, we always start with 0. Starting with 0. And taking away two groups of 3 negatives gets you 6 positives. Positives. Okay, I want you to think about it. If you take away negatives, don't you end up more positive? Okay. If you take away negatives, don't you end up with more positives? Okay, let's look at these. Add in negatives. Don't you end up negative? Add in positives. Don't you end up positive? Okay. Now for this last one. We're going to take away positive. Well, when you take away positives, don't you get more negative? Okay. So this one we're going to starting with 0 and taking away two groups of 3 positives gets you 6 negatives. All right, so this, you need to understand the rules now that we've been through, let me get rid of this. Now that we've been through the why behind everything with tiles and chips and number lines, okay? You need to understand these rules, okay? A positive times a positive is a positive. A positive times a negative is a negative. A negative times a positive is a negative. A negative times a negative is a positive. Summarize A through D above in 2 sentences. Here it comes. Here is the rule. When multiplying 2 numbers, if they have the same signs, you get a positive answer. When they have different signs, you get a negative answer. Okay, take a look at this. Same signs, positive, positive, you get a positive answer. Positive, negative, different signs, negative answer. Negative, positive, different signs, negative. Negative, negative, those are the same signs, you get a positive answer. Okay, so those are the rules. You need to have those in your brain. Okay. All right. We are going to start relating multiplication to division. Okay, we are not going to do any modeling for division. We're just going to relate it to what we know about multiplication. Okay, so 3 times what equal 12? That would be 3 times 4. That relates to 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay, it's very important to understand how multiplying and dividing are related to one another. Okay, what times 6 is 42? That would be 7. 42 divided by 6 is 7. Negative 9 times what is negative 72? That would be a positive 8. Negative 72 divided by negative 9 is a positive 8. Negative 7 times what is 56? That would be negative 8. 56 divided by negative 7 is negative 8. What times negative 3 is 9? Negative 3. So 9 divided by negative 3 is negative 3. Okay, starting to fill in a little bit extra now. All right, what times 4 is negative 48? That's a negative 12. Okay, over here it would be negative 48 divided by 4 is negative 12. All right, this guy, we're working backwards. We've got negative 36 divided by 6. That's negative 6. So negative 6 times 6 is negative 36. This guy, 88 divided by negative 8 is negative 11. This would be negative 11 times 8. Negative 8 is 88. All right, so please understand how you can relate multiplication and division to one another. Okay. All right, these guys down here. Show how to use related multiplication problems to find each quotient, then state the quotient. Okay, if 12 divided by negative 3, if we're looking at that, aren't we also looking at negative 3 times something equals 12? And that would be a negative 4. For this one, negative 8 divided by negative 2, doesn't that mean negative 2 times something is negative 8? Which is a positive 4. This guy, 40 divided by negative 10. Isn't that the same thing as saying negative 10 times something is 40? And that's a negative 4 answer. This guy, negative 96 divided by negative 12, isn't that the same as negative 12 times something? Negative 12 times something is negative 96, which is positive 8. Okay, what are the rules for dividing integers? I hope that you understand that they are the same rules as multiplication. So the rules for dividing integers are the same as those for multiplying integers. Okay, we've got a couple of word problems to try, and then this is the end of this lesson. Okay, so a couple of word problems. Write a multiplication expression for the situation. Write the answer in a complete sentence. The temperature increased 2 degrees Fahrenheit an hour for 6 hours. How many total degrees did it increase after 6 hours? Okay, you should understand it's going to be 6 groups of a positive 2. Okay, the temperature increased 12 degrees Fahrenheit. Period. Okay. Write a division expression for the situation. Write your answer in a sentence. Max the gorilla lost 24 pounds in 8 weeks on his new gorilla food. What was his average change in weight per week? Okay, lost 24 pounds. I'm going to do negative 24. And if I divide that by 8, I end up with he loses an average pound to 3 pounds per week. Do you have to have the negative here? No. You can have 24 divided by 8 and then say he loses is the key word, an average of 3 pounds each week. Max lost an average of 3 pounds per week. Okay. Okie dokie, guys, that was 2.2b. So we are now on to the next lesson in section 3. Okay. It's a little bit tougher because we're going to be introducing fractions. Okay, thanks, guys.